Recession. It's a word that sends chills down most people's spines, especially when it comes to real estate. But like many things in life, it's a very misunderstood word, especially when it comes to real estate. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Zach, and I'm a real estate broker in Fort Myers, Florida. As you probably guessed, we're going to talk about a recession and how it impacts real estate and real estate values. Now, you're going to want to stick around to the end of this video because it's probably not what you think. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of an economic recession is a period of reduced economic activity. Or in even more simple terms, the economy just isn't as productive as it was and people aren't spending as much money as they used to. There's been some discussion lately about changing the definition of the word, but I don't think many people are going to fall for that. The truth is, we've now had 2 quarters of negative economic growth, so we're officially in the big R. Now, in the past 45 years, there's been 6 recessions in the USA. Now, I'm not just talking about people that lose their jobs or reining their spending, but actual data-backed recessions that had shrinking economic growth. 3 years ago, there was a lot of buzz about a pending recession. Some folks were adamant that there was doom and gloom lurking around the corner. In fact, I did a video about those unfounded predictions. You can see that right up here. And obviously, we've been pretty much riding our economic rocket ship since then. But now, it's the middle of 2022. Interest rates are up a lot. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world. And technically, in the true sense of the world, as of last week, we're in a recession. Yes, things are definitely weird right now. There's no doubt that things are shifting and slowing down. However, that doesn't mean that housing prices are going to crash. Chances are the 2 recessions that you remember are early 2020 when COVID hit the fan and the world pretty much shut down. I mean, you went from a normal world to a few weeks or even a few months, depending on where you live, where nobody left their home, let alone spent any extra money. But thanks to the internet and the gig economy, people quickly ramped up their spending with online shopping and grocery delivery, which helped this to be one of the shortest recessions ever. And besides the COVID recession, you probably remember the Great Recession from 2008 and 2009, when the real estate market had one of the most spectacular and painful crashes of all time. However, out of these past 6 recessions that I refer to, only 2 of them caused real estate values to drop. I don't mean crash, I mean drop. Yes, in 2008, real estate values crashed close to 20%, but that's not normal in a recession. Aside from the Great Recession, the only other recession that had a drop in real estate values was in 1991, when prices dropped by a whopping 1.9%. That's right, 45 years, 6 recessions, 2 of which had a drop in real estate values, and only one of those was any significance. Furthermore, when the crash happened in 2008, that was for various reasons that helped to cause the recession and not the other way around, where a recession caused a drop in home values. But anywho, in the 4 other recessions we've had in the past 45 years, 4 of them saw an increase in home values. So my point is, with all this rambling and boring economic talk, is that recessions generally don't have a negative impact on real estate values. But let's look at each one real quickly. So early 2020, we had a short 2.5-month recession due to COVID. During that time, home values increased just over 3%. 2008, the Great Recession. It hurt bad. Home values dropped almost 20% on average across the country. In 2001, the dot-com bubble burst and the September 11th terrorist attacks combined to stop the longest period of economic growth in American history up until that time. During this recession, home values increased 6.6%. Now, starting in late 1990, inflation was growing, kind of like now. The Fed responded by raising interest rates, kind of like now. Growth slowed, but didn't stop, kind of like now. Debt had accumulated substantially, kind of like now. And overall consumer pessimism drove us into a recession, kind of like now. Now, this was the only other recession in my lifetime where real estate values dropped. And as I said, it was only 1.9%. To break that down even more, $500,000 today, which is a nice home in our market, was equal to approximately $200,000 in 1990. So when your $200,000 home lost 1.9% in value, that means you lost $3,800. Now, don't get me wrong, a buck's a buck. But if you look at the increases in real estate values before that recession and afterwards, a loss of less than $4,000 is barely a hiccup. It's like half a hiccup, if that's even a thing. You really only lost that $4,000 if you bought at the peak and sold almost immediately. But if you actually held onto the home for a couple of years or more, like most people did, you didn't lose anything. But I digress. 1981 and 1982, we were feeling the effects of the Iranian Revolution, which caused an energy crisis and an oil and gas shortage, combined with the inflation to cause another recession. And even though people were used to lining up for blocks to get gas, their home prices still increased by 3.5%. And in 1980, we had another brief recession, and real estate values still increased by over 6%. My point is, and if you're still listening, thank you. My point is that recessions generally do not have a negative impact on real estate values. So if you're still in a position to buy a home, it's not a bad idea, especially when there's less competition out there among buyers. Yeah, I know interest rates are up. That's a whole other video topic because they're really not as bad as we've just been spoiled for the past couple of years. This is why I like to say you marry the home, but you date the rate. What I mean by that is if you find the perfect home, buy it, even with a higher rate. Interest rates are always fluctuating. They're likely going to drop again, in which case you can refinance into a lower rate. But if history tells us anything, by the time rates drop, home values will have increased even more, offsetting any purchasing power that the new rates have created. So you're best to buy a home at 2022 prices, even if you have a 2022 interest rate. Then refinance once rates get dialed down again, because once you buy the home, that prices are going to change. But if you wait, the price will go up. Now, even though a recession is officially here, check out this video right over here to see even more details on why the real estate market is not going to crash and why the recent run-up in home values is nothing like the time leading up to the Great Recession in the mid-2000s. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.